I'm gonna try to hang a whole half hour. So my name's Ralph, or you guys can call me Trooper too. It's all good. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. Let me see. First of all, I want to thank God for my life today. I'm living the dream. You know what I mean? What more can I say? My clean date is September 26, 2016. Thank you. Like all of you, the miracle happened at Fred Brown's on 14th Street for me. Uh, Man, I got there and I was a broken man. I really was. You know, Let me start with a little bit of my background. So I grew up on the other side of the bridge in Long Beach. I'm an East Side baby, and following that lifestyle, I started jailing early. So I got on probation. At 14, and I never looked back, man. I went from juvenile formal probation to parole to to where I'm at now. I'm off parole, but I finally discharged at Fred Brown's. But I had that tail on me forever. You know what I mean? And if you had told me all I got to do is stop using or drinking any of it, I wouldn't have believed you. But that's what happened. So I started using probably at 12. I was huffing paint, liquid paper, you name it. You know what I mean? That was my thing. From like, even when I started doing the heavy drugs, I never let go of that. I did that till I was like 19. It was crazy, but my hard use really started when I was 15. And I in probably 6 months I used it all. I did it all, but stick a needle in my arm. But I did the crack, the speed, the acid, the mushrooms, any the sherm, Frankenstein. We dip a primo in the juice. I mean, we would do it all, but so I started doing the jail thing. Really, that's where my story is. I couldn't stay out. You know what I mean? And I get out for about 3 months, and I go back in, get out for a week, go back in, and I did that shit for a long, long time. I would like to speed up just a little bit, right? So I get out of prison in 13, and towards the end of my term, I was really looking forward to. I had been to SAF one time, so I was really looking forward to getting back into recovery and trying a new way. I had been strung out that whole term. I did 7, and I was high in every penitentiary. I probably hit about 7 penitentiaries that time, all behind my addiction. And towards the end of it, my buddy Rob here, I was with him, and so he can attest to the papers I was looking for. Anyhow, so I got out, and needless to say, I start. The first day I drank and smoked weed, and I never made it to SAF. It took about 5 months. By the time I got there, I was on the run again, and I was broken. So I did that 3 more times. And the last time before Fred Brown's that I was at SAF, I brought 9 months. I brought 9 months, and although I was doing tramadol because my back, right? I thought I really had 9 months, but while I was there, I got the bright idea that I could make money selling dope. So I started selling dope in SAF, and then I went to sober living, and I started selling dope there. And I believe that this was one of the main reasons why I was able to hit my bottom, because God really he really allowed me to hit the curb, because I was I was poisoning his people. I was going to meetings and taking the month chips and telling you I was recovering, and here when somebody called me, I go deliver some dope. It was working for me at the time, and And so by the time I relapsed and I went through all the dope that I had, because I had a substantial amount, um, I I got to a place, man, where I could really uh, I was really fucked up, messed up, right? I I became homeless. Was living in alleys. If you would have told me that Trooper would have been digging in the dumpster looking for food, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have thought you were disrespecting me. Um, but it was what I was doing. It's where my life had gone, you know. And um, I was like doing all these 10-day flashes, like they weren't stopping, you know. Um, like every month I was in the county, you know, going in there tore up, and they'd kick me back out after 10 days, you know. And they weren't saving me like they were before. You know, before the Prop 47, they were saving me. You know, I didn't want to admit it then, but I was being rescued. You know, and not this time. So I got to the point where I was homeless. My family closed their doors on me. They didn't want nothing to do with me no more. Um, I'd survived like all the gangbanging years in the 80s and the 90s, and all the penitentiaries from the early 90s to that moment, you know, in 2016. And one thing I couldn't survive was being homeless. Like I didn't know how to take care of myself by myself, because the system had always taken care of me. And um, I was just like a child out there, like a little. I just didn't know how to survive, right? And of course, I was scared of crime. You know, I didn't want to do no robberies no more. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't, I, you know, I just, I didn't want to go back. You know, so I was staying away from really things that would lead me back like that. You know, so I remember on one of my flashes, my PO came, and and he pulled me out, and he tells me, hey, you know, I talked to the supervisor, and we're thinking about just letting you off parole. You know, I was coming up on 4 years already, and and right when he told me that, I like fuck. There was a fear, like fuck. Here it is, you know. And he tells me, but if you want help, that's why I'm here. And you know, soft motherfucker, man. I lumped up, man. My chest got tight, and I got a little teardrop in my eye, man. I couldn't even talk, you know. I just shook my head, you know, like telling him, yeah. So he's like, all right. He goes, I'm gonna take the hold off you, and I'm gonna pick you up. But if for whatever reason I can't pick you up, just show up to the office in Compton, right? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna show up. So right as I'm getting released, man, I remember in my wallet I had a little booger of heroin. I had a little booger of heroin. I was like, man, I hope they don't find it. And then what if they find it? So I'm getting released. Sure enough, it was right there. And of course, I snorted it. I never made it to the parole office. So, excuse me. Um, about 3 weeks later, 3.5 weeks later, I'm on my bike, you know, with my headphones on, listening to Ozzy Osbourne or some shit, flying on my bike, and a cop gets behind me. I don't even hear him. They finally pull up, and I had a little bit of dope. I had some pills, and I had that pal one, you know. So I go back to the county, and like 10 days into it, I don't go to that what do they call that yeah, that 10-day flash court, whatever they call it, that kangaroo court. I don't go to it, and I'm thinking, man, you know what I mean? What's up, man? I'm going home, and am I on parole? Like, you know what I mean? I thought they were gonna drop the parole, and um, I go down to receiving, and make a long story short, everybody gets released but me. I'm like, wait, banging on the window, telling me, hey, what's up? What's up with me? He's like, I think you're going to a program. And I was like, so that's at night. So the next day it's like 10 in the morning, and I'm still there, right? And I'm waiting, and finally I see him walking, you know. And of course I was happy as fuck, you know. And he picks me up, and he takes me to right there on 78th and Cherry. I think it's a 360 program or something like that. Stop. Yeah. He took me there, and when I was getting evaluated, I just, I was sincere. Like I wanted to stop, man. I just didn't know how to stop, guys. I just, you know what I mean? I didn't know how to stay stopped, I didn't know it, but I was surrendering, in little increments, man. I was surrendering, and so the lady told me, she goes, you know what? I think you're sincere, and I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna send you. I don't do this for many people, but I'm gonna send you to Fred Brown's. And of course, I heard about Fred Brown's. Living in Long Beach, and I used to run around here too. So I knew about Fred Brown's, and that's where the miracle happened, man. I started writing that autobiography. It took me like 3.5 weeks. I got 37 letters out of it. If someone would have told me, hey, don't tell too much, So yeah, so I had 37 letters, man. It took me a long time, but getting into the letters, let me back up just a minute. So I do have a sponsor. I rarely talk to him. I have my books. I'm still reading them. All the work I've done has been at Fred Brown's. I'm a procrastinator, and I don't recommend that. I recommend we get, do the work. So I started getting these letters, and can I say my counselor's name? Andrea was my counselor, and I love that woman. She did a lot for me. Those one-on-ones with her really helped because I was able to really like really tell her how I felt. You know what I mean? And I love my group too. But in that group, I was able to write and forgive that weirdo that was in my life when I was 11 years old. The one I never told nobody about. You know what I mean? I was able to write that letter and find a place to forgive him. I didn't want to. What I wanted to do. You know what I mean? So I did a lot of peeling, man. A lot of peeling that onion. Another one that was really, really hard for me to write was the gang one, right? And I heard this said like right after I left. I was done at Fred Brown's. I heard this said. I was misinformed by misinformed people, and I didn't understand that. I was like, what do I mean? I mean, today I do. You know what I mean? Today I really, really do. Because I lived that life for so long. You know what I mean? And I couldn't let it go. I just could not let it go, man. I couldn't let it go. My biggest fear was what my homies thought of me. You know what I mean? Today they're proud of me. You know what I'm saying? But my head would tell me different. And so I told Andrea, like, I can't write this letter. Like, I don't, you want to make me out to be a buster? What are you trying to do here? You're trying to turn me out. You know what I mean? What is this about? So the way she explained it to me, well, just say goodbye to the lifestyle, and that I could do, So in doing that, I was able to let that go little by little. You know what I mean? I still get caught up in moments. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? That person's still in me, but I don't go. I'm not promoting it like that no more. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm not protecting that street sign no more. You know what I mean? The one to God. I think for me, all the other times that I've been recovering, I would tell you guys I had God. And I thought I did have God because I grew up Catholic, right? And I did all the Catholic stuff and the confirmations, everything, right? And so I thought I was, but I wasn't. I always left God out, man. I always left God out, and that's one of the first things that I do every morning is I thank God. I thank God for waking me up. I thank God for allowing me to move my limbs so I can go crack and work for my family, and bring home a check. You know what I mean? Because if I can't move, if I don't work, I don't get paid. I'm in that kind of job. You know what I mean? There's no benefits to my job. You got to show up and do your thing. So I all praise and glory to my higher power, who I call God. You know what I mean? Without him, I would not be here. You know. Thank you, Nancy, for inviting me. You know, John, great speech, great 10 minutes, bro. You got a good story, man. Surrendering for me is every day. You know, sometimes I have bad moments, but that's all they are, So back to God, the God thing. I love Narcotics Anonymous, all the Anonymous, because spiritual progress, not spiritual perfection, is perfect for a person like me. You know what I mean? I got loaded behind biblical stuff. Not that I don't believe in the Bible, but biblical stuff. I would get loaded behind. I just couldn't be that person. Maybe one day. But I thank God for these rooms, because God brought me to these rooms. Your guys' prayers. Prayer got me here. Prayer keeps me here. You know what I mean? It's like all the prayers. My mom, she's a devout Catholic, and she'd always tell me, your Thea over here is praying for you, and I'm praying for you, and all those prayers. I'm grateful for that, because that's how I got here. God has a purpose for me. I still don't know what it is. I'm staying in the moment, guys. I'm staying in the moment. Once I start to veer off a little bit, I sit down, I grab tight, and I don't make a move. And I include God in everything. I can't stress that enough. I try not to take what I have for granted, even though, wow, I can't believe I made it. Yeah, I'm just rambling now. I get ungrateful super fast, but I get back, I got people I can call, like Rob, my boy Abraham, we were in Supermax, once, and, that's my boy right there. Jeff, thank you for coming out with me, my homeboy right there. It works, all the little cliches that they tell us right here, they're real, man. They're real. The one day at a time, the easy does it, to stay in the moment, grab hold of your seat. Don't give it up for no one. Don't give it up for no one. Don't wait till the miracle happens. Do I feel I've had a spiritual awakening? Damn right. I feel I had a spiritual awakening. When it happened, I really can't tell you. I know early on, when I was still at Fred Brown's, we were walking, I think, to the Alano, and it was at nighttime, and so we're all pushing down. I don't know, maybe it was 7th Street or 9th Street, one of those, and we had just cut off Center, and I heard Ralphie, and I knew that voice, man, from the ad seg, right? From the ASU. That's the only place where everybody was calling me Ralphie, and I knew it was Rob in my heart, because I knew Rob had been there. I talked to Rob before he got out, and it was one of those moments where I had just left SAF, because I've been to SAF 5 times. Once before I went and did the 7 years, and 4 times before I came to Fred Brown's. So I talked to Rob. He was going to try to get down there to SAF, So I knew he was coming. The moment passed, I relapsed, and I forgot about it until I got to Fred Brown's, and when I heard that voice, it just all dawned on me. It's just like, damn, that's Rob. And I started looking, and he's, nice whip. And he's got his life going, and I think it was Marcus. We were walking with Mark. I don't know, may rest in peace. I was walking with Marcus, and Marcus let me talk to him, but he's been a pillar in my recovery, man. Rob, I talk to Rob maybe at least 5 times a week. He thinks I'm avoiding him, but he can't hear me with my little Bluetooth speaker. Mine's is a $50 one. His is a $200 one. Big Rob, man. And another thing is that God did for me what I couldn't do for myself. Right. When it was my time to go back home and try to try to live. God put me with a great support group, and I got in the middle of that herd, and I tried to do everything they were doing, and doors started opening for me. Why? Because God knew my heart, man. He knew my heart. He knew I surrendered, and I was surrendering every day. I went to work with Rob, every opportunity he gave me. Uh, um, I did all kinds of little odds and ends, man, all kinds of little under the table construction stuff, and one of my bros that I was locked up in the joint with too, from Oxnard, he gave me a little whip. He gave me a little whip, so I was able to start going to work, and um, you know, my family paid for the first month of sober living, and it was in Bellflower. It was iron sharpens iron. It was a trippy sober. Everybody was, as far as I know, everybody was clean. You know what I mean? But it was a rundown sober living, man. Rest in peace, Pete. Samoan Pete ran it. Then finally, they paid my first rent, and after that, I became self-supporting. Self-sufficient. I'm proud to say that I got married. In November 11th of 22. We wanted to do all the 11s because I grew up on 11th Street. I mean, it was all symbolic. She was too. So 11. 22 is 11. And I've been with this woman for going on 11 years. Not long after I got out, and we live in Los Alamitos. A lot of you know my wife, Crystal Blaine. You know her, of course, Nancy. She puts up with, guys. I'm not all there up here, man, because I'm sick most of the time. But knowing this, and I share this with some of my buddies, right? Knowing that I'm crazy as all hell, right? And I believe that lie over and over. Now when I think of that lie, I just don't do it because I know that my mind is crazy. Welcome to the good life. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, I can do it. Thank you, brother. Stone Cold Dofi, and I've done some gutter stuff to get that shot, man. I've lied, cheated. I was at CRC, and not to romance nothing, but I shot someone's blood. That's how bad I wanted that shot. I was a stone cold Dofi. I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but the binky fell and it got in the book, and I was like, I looked all day for that, and I did it. I was gonna do it. There's no way. The obsession was kicking, So I know about how it feels. I know about when I get tired, hungry, upset. That's the first thing I want to do. I had to change, not everything, but I had changed most of things. People, places, and things. I changed that right away. I didn't have to go prove to anybody how good I was doing. They heard about it. They heard about it because I wasn't on the streets no more, knocking on their door, asking, you got anything? Hey, can I shower? Hey, can I take over your bathroom? You know what I'm saying? So they heard about Trooper getting clean and sober, however you want to put it. They heard about it, and like I said, God started doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. So if anybody wants my number, I'd be glad to give you my number. I'm Ralph, and I'm an addict. Thank you. Nice.